I'm Amanda from LHL Organizing and Lighter Happier Living. So today we're just going to do a quick little review of how I now do my paper note system. I had a brain injury in 2013, and paper was one of the main things that became very overwhelming to me. And so I worked really hard to get rid of most of my paper. So one of the things that I worked really hard to figure out was that with the brain injury, I really need to rely on muscle memory to convert it into my head. So even when it comes to my schedule, physically writing it down helps me remember it exists. So here's something I started trying out about 10 months ago. You can see it here. Hopefully my computer doesn't cancel that out. Wave is the microwave to erase, so I have core probably. The very basic core one, and not this top binding. I only have one style of page. So if we look at the core notebooks, maybe we can find one that's like mine. Yeah, so this is the page that I have, and I only have this front and back, all the pages. Book website, which if you noticed is getrocketbook.com, not Rocketbook.com. I found that out the hard way. This one's more expensive. You can select any color, and I don't think it changes the price. The executive notebook is the little one. So they kind of showing the size there a little bit, like, I don't know, what you could slide into a bag. I don't know. I think that's the idea, is like it's easier to keep around. But I don't know why they're charging 32. Almost everywhere else you can find it on sale. Even Sam's Club has one now. So let's just look at notebooks, see what comes up. Our cheapest one, perhaps, hopefully. Which I think you have to get the black one. Ooh, okay. It must have been on a discount when I bought it, because look at these prices. They're back up. I think this is the one that I got. But maybe I got it on a Black Friday sale or something. So here's a pens. We talked about pens before, and some of these, it's like, I don't know how well they're going to scan, but they do make more pens. So yeah, everything I'm seeing is $30. So that sucks. Guys, I'm sorry. That really sucks. Let me look at Sam's Club real quick, see if we can see what their package was. All right, so here's their packet. That doesn't look any different than my bundle. Oh, except it comes with this pin holder thing, which I did not have. Fusion. Core. I have core. So the pin station is that little thing that hangs off the side. And look at this. So you get in this one a weekly, oh, hold on, task list, weekly planner, monthly calendar, OKR goal template. That I have no idea what that is. I don't think we saw that before in Rocketbook's thing. Idea list, don't know what that is either. Dot grid, hate that. And lined pages. Otherwise, this actually might be the better package. And here it is, available for $25. Here's this planning page that we never saw. Objectives, key results, reflections, blah, 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 blah. So this might be their new template for meetings. Anyway, this is what I currently have, and I got it because it was super cheap and I didn't know if it would work. It's been working pretty well. And so if you'll notice, we'll just go back to where I was. Rocketbook Pro is this clip-in version. So this is where you can add your own types of pages, and you don't have to, I mean, the other one, you could get some pages and run your spiral through, but you're paying for a new notebook every time basically. And this one you can just buy page packets. And so this is what I was looking at doing. I'm not loving how thick this black band is here. It's making the page kind of a weird size. If you see here, it's kind of tall and skinny. But the scan will cut off this bottom part anyway, so this might kind of bring it back to the right proportions for a page if you were going to print it back out. I have never printed anything back out after making the notes, but I could see there would be reasons to do it. So this is the size difference between the executive over here and the full-sized, what do they call it? Letter. They call it letter size. I've been considering it, but look at this price, guys, 55. Like that's way higher than, yeah, than what I was prepared for. And then these page packets are like 14 a piece. Here's some page packets. So these are the ones that I've been considering. So they have a monthly, a weekly, and then a day planner. And I am used to my day planner actually being 2 pages, which lets me fill in a lot more detail and even put notes about the day in the day slot. I don't know if I'm going to miss that. And then it has like tasks over here, which I've been doing my tasks in Notion online. So I've sort of solved some of these problems in other places, which makes me a little uncertain how to go about this. Because I also would like to have a couple of grid pages. Like I don't need a whole notebook worth of them. Here is, I could just add graph pages. But look at the price of this too. The daily to do. See, the monthly and weekly isn't even with the daily. This is what's frustrating. These are not common sense packets. To me, if I was going to drop one, I would actually drop the weekly. I don't really find it to be terribly useful. So this is the package that I have been considering for a while, but to add pages, you need this pro style. And we're already looking kind of at $100 to get the monthly packages, the to-dos, and the grid paper. Okay, so I was hoping this was like, pick what pages are going in your notebook and only pay for what you need, but no, it looks like it's just putting your logo on it, which is a neat option to have. It is smaller. It's not really as big a notebook, I don't think. So I don't know. I'll probably be sticking with what I got because I don't even think you can get planner pages in the core notebook. Yeah, if you want a planner, this is pretty much what you've got to do. And then look at this, the original pro page package on a final sale. So I don't know what's happening here. This one is this is a meeting notes thing. Okay, a lot of them are on sale, I guess. Which dot grid is not going away. Oh, but look, the fitness pages. I saw these. So these are the fitness pages. Workout, meal, measurements, things like that. I think if you were a body sculptor, you maybe would want to do this. Like if you're aiming for a very specific physique for a show, those pages could be very useful. But most people use apps, and I think that's sufficient. And if you're tracking your workout, I don't think this is what you would want to use. They're calling it D&D. Notes, what? Key features, size, class, alignment. Is that actually Dungeons and Dragons, guys? I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I've never seen that before. This is the meeting notes one I was talking about. And yeah, so it has a start and an end time, what day of the week, the objective of the meeting, the agenda, the attendees, and then the notes. Anyway, that's the meeting notes. And then here's the dot grid, which we knew it could have, but it's on sale. Awesome, right? Here's graph paper. I see this is where, oh, graph paper is on sale. Maybe that's why I pulled it out of the other stash. And Dungeons and Dragons is on sale, but the others are out, it looks like. So it is Dungeons and Dragons. We officially know that's what it is. Had no idea they did that. That's kind of interesting. I'm just going to show you the notebook I have. It's not a whole lot of pages and it's flimsy. So they are all the lined pages. Both sides are lined. Show it there. And then the grids and the icons are down here. Hard to see. So that's my notebook. And then I added this, so it was made by somebody on Etsy. So I can be scanned and added. Obviously, being acrylic, it can get scratched, and it is already showing some scratches. I have it converting to low resolution. If I want a higher resolution, I have a scanner that I can use. And this so far has worked very well for most of my needs. So the only thing I've been teasing really is the planner I was showing because I used to use Brendan Burchard's high performance planner, and this lets me sort of work through the challenges that I would have for the day and how to set up and reset my mind, give myself breaks. I'm also trying to work on fatigue management right now, and that has its own journal, and you're supposed to be like measuring your fatigue level, and then you're estimating how taxing things are going to be. And so I haven't figured out I think I'm going to have to make a custom thing in Notion to track that. So this is more somebody calls me and I need to write something down real quick and trying to brainstorm where I need to freehand draw stuff. I do my brainstorming on there and then I can always scan that in as an image. That's how I use Rocketbook, and I hope you find this useful. You still have to do the organizing on the computer side of where those files go and what they look like. But I find that this really helps me just combine. I don't have sticky notes anymore. I don't have like multiple notebooks. I don't have multiple planners anymore. Like literally everything is here and it gets erased and reused. And then anything that was important goes to the cloud. So in some kind of cloud storage where I can label it correctly, pull it where it needs to be, and search for it pretty easily. I would say that for the last 10 months or so that I've been doing this, it's been very useful and I have not regretted my purchase. One thing to note though is that the pen is not heat tolerant. So the first one, I left it in a hot car over the summer when I first got this, and it stopped writing. So people have said that you can put it in the freezer and kind of reconstitute it. It'll start writing again, but it never really returned. It sort of was skipping all the time. Now, I don't know if that had to do with the erasing, because I used to always erase the notes and then rewrite over. And it skips when you do that too. So it's like anywhere you had a mark before, it now jumps over it and catches on the other side. And so now that I'm wiping it off with water, that might be better. But that was a problem. The pins don't like heat. So now this one stays with me in my bag. And sometimes my bag doesn't stay with me, but for the most part, that limits its time in the hot car. So if I have my notebook, the whole bag comes with me and the pen is there for the notebook. So hopefully we can avoid that. It does have the little eraser and you can refill these little. I've already forgotten how I opened it to refill it, but it's been done once already. And you can pick different colors. The basic package of multicolors is black, blue, red, and green. It's really good for note taking. And then the program also has that convert to text, which is a great feature. So there's a bunch of junk in here. And these are the copies that it produced. I think this is the convert to text actually. So it's a docx file for convert to text, and then this is the image as a PDF. Several copies. And honestly, let's do this one here. Hope that's a little easier to read. Ooh, we got some Russian. So this did not happy here. Tessa's commas. I mean, this is junk. If we go up to this one there, it's already opened. And this is coding, and so it shouldn't have put this up here. It should actually be down here. And we can go ahead and edit this because it is a document file. And then we can make it look a lot closer to how it should have actually come out. It's this one here, I think. So yeah, so select average. That one should be, okay, so the public city something blah blah. This stuff is what's kind of causing trouble. It looks like it ignored the arrow for the most part. It definitely doesn't do a perfect job, especially with alignment, but the text is pretty accurate here. These notes definitely do require some editing, but this is coding, and so it's somewhat understandable that it struggled to make sense of it. If you have something a little more text-based, it's easier. Let's just take a look at the notes. Go ahead and try to open it. Anyway, you can get an idea here of how that convert works. And I would definitely recommend that you never do the convert without the image, just because of how glitchy it is. That's just how it works. I've had a few other little shorts that you can look at some of the results of documents, I think. It might have been in the long video in there somewhere in my this is how I take notes nowadays, and I'm really liking the method. It's very simple to erase and start over, and you can map things out however you want, freestyle draw it. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any downside except that you don't want to write in this lower portion. In the bottom here, you can see that there is some dead space between the icons and the bottom line. And normally on a notebook, I would use that space, but in this notebook, you don't want to. It just kind of cuts off about halfway probably, but it's just not consistent. And so if you write below that lowest line, you will get like your tails to Y's and G's and stuff for the most part, but it's going to cut off something below there. And so sometimes I've tried to cram in notes there, also kind of on the side, and your handwriting gets a little squirrely when you do that. And then also the convert to text doesn't handle that well. So just a couple of notes on if you're considering this. I would mostly recommend this cheap version. I think it's perfectly adequate. It does need something to give it some sturdiness if you're going to use it anywhere but on a table, which usually I'm not using it on a table. So I would highly recommend getting something to make it sturdier, and it might as well be something you could just scan other pages with. That way, if you get a handout from somebody, you can throw this over, a little seminar deal. And so like here, you can see it will cut off some on the bottom there and you can't scale it. So scanning would let you pick all of that up, but you're losing number 5 down there and then that whole row of stuff. But you can position this and pick up a lot of quick handouts or things that you maybe can't take home with you to scan. Or if you don't want to have a scanner, you can get a good enough scan on things like that. And so, yeah, I do recommend that setup. The lined paper is the most versatile. So I don't know that I would worry too much about trying to do planners and stuff on there. So I hope you find this helpful. And if you've been considering going paperless, personally, I like this option. It's a little better than a tablet in the sense that it never dies. You don't have to worry about it being charged. And it writes like a pen writes. So it has that resistance that you're expecting. Absolutely let me know if you have other ideas, because I certainly am still open to possibly better solutions, especially for the heat. And also if you've tried this and what you thought of it. All right. See you next time.